time for another installment of Miscellaneous Monday. Oh, high school. To some, it's the best time of their lives. To others, it's just days of drudgery spent staring at the clock until your eyes strain, just waiting for that last second to tick to freedom. For me, pranks galore. So tonight, y'all are gonna hear the tale of how I tried to drive a classmate insane with the most epic prank I had up until that point in Bedlam of Bells. We all have our old shame. Some of us have a lot. Some of us got drunk and painted a water tower with cartoony depictions of human anatomy. Others may have done very stupid sports stunts and broken bones. Me? I had a crush on a weeaboo. I'm not proud of that one. But there weren't a lot of guys who had similar interests to me in my school, so the pickings were slim. What can I say? We all make mistakes. So I had this crush on a guy that initially wasn't so cringeworthy. Unfortunately, being the dumb teenager who couldn't see past the little floaty hearts in her eyes, I thought, I'll just do some anime-related things to impress this guy. Now, that might have been impressive if I had decided to work out like Saitama, or learn how to cook like the people in Food Wars. But no, I went more towards kitschy fashion. Because what better way to impress a weeaboo than to make oneself resemble characters he likes? As I said, I was an idiot teenager and had discarded my common sense for my first real crush. In theory, this might have been a good idea if I had decided to dress down and make myself look nice in a classy way. But no. I wore a bell collar, a la Tokyo Mew Mew. Since that was literally the first thing that came to my genius mind when I opened my sewing kit, I was like, aha! I shall put together this bell with this stretchy bit of elastic, and it shall be the perfect accessory to help me snare my man with my feminine wiles, or something along those lines. This was the same teenager who blew her wrist up with baking soda and vinegar. I hope this doesn't actually surprise you. So here I go, off to school, and I sneak this half-assed collar into the gym. As soon as I spotted my target, I slipped this thing over my head and marched over to make my move. What my move was supposed to be, I have no idea, because I was so nervous about him actually reciprocating my affections that I probably would have literally leapt straight up onto the ceiling if he'd so much as said, "You're pretty." Anyway, I sat down next to him and we started chatting it up because, hey, I may have been crushing mad hard then, but we had actually been good friends for a couple of years. Well, he notices the bell, as anybody with eyes would have, and points it out. "You have a bell?" "Why, yes. Yes, I do," I told him, and made up a fib about it being part of a makeshift cosplay. That's when I noticed he had an odd gleam in his eye. And while a teenager who wasn't wading through the sea of floaty hearts would have seen the prime prank potential at the time, I did not. So I honestly did not expect his reaction of seeing my makeshift bell collar to be, "Hey, can I borrow that?" Of course, I couldn't say no, though I was a bit disappointed as to that being the reaction. So I give him my little necklace as the bell rings and we go on our separate ways to class. Fast forward a couple of classes later and I walk into my physics class and see a friend of his whom we'll call Weeaboo's friend. Weeaboo's friend sees me and looks absolutely frantic. As soon as I set my stuff down, he literally hops into his desk behind me in such force that it scoots across the ground and bashed into mine. This dude, who is about 6'2" and built like a linebacker, gets 3 inches from my face. And in the most panicked, uncharacteristically high-pitched voice that I have ever heard out of this guy says, "You gotta make him stop!" I'm like, "Do what now?" "The bell," he repeats. "You gave him the bell! You gotta get it away from him! He's been driving me insane!" That's how I learned that Weeaboo Crush had been sitting in class, wearing my bell collar, jingling the bell incessantly every time the teacher was out of earshot. All of this had been payback for something that this guy did that, while I'm sure I would consider it stupid drama now, was a pretty serious insult back when we were kids. Because Weeaboo Crush was not only my love interest but also my best guy friend, this meant this dude was also on my bad list. And this guy had just handed me the keys to breaking his sanity. What a horrible abuse of power I was about to employ. I assured him that one little bell would no longer be his problem, and, soundly relieved, he unknowingly dropped his guard. I then promptly went home and enlisted my mother's help. I can't actually remember what I said because saying I want to prank some dude who insulted this dude I have a crush on would not have gone over well, at all. Not because she was against pranks, but God help me if I mentioned even being within 5 feet of a guy after the age of 13. But whatever I said got results, for I was not presented with a handful of jingle bells, but multiple small cloth banners with huge bells from old Christmas decorations. My inner sadist rejoiced. So off I go to school the next day to rally the troops. Together with 5 or 6 of my female friends, I convinced them to unite to exact justice for my insulted crush. Since my friends were all as batty as I was, they agreed. I passed out the bell banners like they were nightly favors, and we began affixing them to our backpacks, our ankles, our wrists, and our belts. Thusly outfitted, I led our grinning and cackling army past my crush, shooting him a much assured nod. Upon hearing the chorus of jingles, he headed down to join us and asked what we were doing, to which I told him what his friend had said, and that we were going to help drive him bonkers. He laughed himself to the point I thought he was going to pass out, and then pulled out the bell he borrowed and put it on. So off we went, marching across the gym to the end of the bleachers where Weeaboo's friend was sitting. The moment he spotted our posse, we started shaking and rattling like crazed birds doing a mating dance. Weeaboo's friend was horrified. "You said you'd stop him!" he shouted in disbelief. "I said you wouldn't have to worry about one bell anymore," I told him, gesturing to the many clamoring balls of metal strung all over our group of sugar-high teenagers. Acknowledging defeat from semantics, Weeaboo's friend made a motion of "forget this" with his arms and leapt down the last 3 seats, causing a thunderous boom as his bulk hit the floor, and causing all of the other students to turn and watch as this guy was chased by a gaggle of much shorter students, all shrieking with laughter and sounding like we were pulling an invisible sleigh. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that story. Do I feel bad for terrorizing my fellow classmate? Not as bad as I feel for having a crush on his friend. Ugh. I swear, he wasn't as cringeworthy when I first started crushing on him. But that crush started waning heavily when the dumbass convinced himself he was Sasuke. That sort of put a damper on things. Also, he grew up to be a bum and wouldn't take care of his kid. And his friend also became a bum and got fired for stealing from a store I was working at. So really, I had fun and dodged a bullet. If you like this story, please like, share, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you can catch your latest spooky fix or funny fix, and check out my Patreon page at patreon.com/Phantasmal Poppy. Thank you. Good night. And please, For the love of all things creepy, don't wear a bell cat collar to impress your crush. I swear I have sense now.